The creative mind is not wired for peace. It's wired for conflict, for contrast, for chaos, with just enough clarity to survive. This isn't a flaw. This is design. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you stop trying to fix yourself and start understanding yourself. Carl Jung once said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. But because they refused to become the person their talent needed them to be." And no creative mind can ascend to mastery without confronting its internal war. Let's talk about that war. 1. Why the creative brain rejects stillness. Creativity is born from tension, not tranquility. From questions, not answers. From hunger, not satisfaction. When you're creating something that didn't exist before, you are breaking order. That means your brain must flirt with disorder, constantly. You don't paint to stay calm. You paint because there's something unresolved inside of you. You don't take photos just to capture beauty. You shoot because the world isn't enough until you frame it through your lens. Your mind, like a fire, needs friction to ignite. That's why most creatives are terrible at being content. Because contentment feels like death to the imagination. So you chase deadlines, drama, dopamine, not because you're reckless, but because stillness feels like suffocation. 2. The curse of hyperawareness. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the part of the psyche that houses everything we repress. For the creative mind, the shadow is louder, brighter, bolder. You see too much. You feel too deeply. You question too often. Where others scroll past an image, you study the color grading. Where others watch a film, you dissect the lighting, the blocking, the soundscape. You don't just listen to a song, you feel the emotion behind the chord progression. This hyper-awareness is your superpower, but it also means you rarely shut off. That's why so many creatives suffer from insomnia, anxiety, burnout, mood swings. You're not broken. You're exhausted from feeling everything while pretending to be fine. 3. The seduction of suffering. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say. Creatives fall in love with their pain, because pain gives you permission to feel. And when you feel, you create. And when you create, you matter. So without knowing it, you start crafting a life that keeps you slightly miserable, enough to stay inspired, but never enough to actually heal. You stay in toxic relationships because the chaos gives you content. You sabotage opportunities because starving artists make better martyrs. You choose struggle over stability because somewhere deep down, you believe peace will make you boring. And boring is your worst fear. 4. Jung's individuation and why most creatives resist it. Carl Jung believed the goal of life was individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all aspects of the self, the light and the shadow, the rational and the instinctive, the masculine and feminine. But most creatives only develop one side, the emotional. They run from structure. They romanticize instability. They wear dysfunction like it's part of the uniform. But without integration, your creativity becomes a cage. You're brilliant, but broke. Talented, but inconsistent. Inspired, but undisciplined. You can shoot a cinematic masterpiece but can't file an invoice. You can design the perfect brand identity but ghost your own audience for months. You know how to tell stories, but you don't know how to lead your own. That's not artistry. That's arrested development disguised as authenticity. 5. The path forward, controlled chaos. So where do you go from here? You don't silence the storm. You build a lighthouse inside of it. You learn to hold both, the fire and the focus, the vision and the vessel. You stop seeing peace as the enemy of your creativity and start seeing it as the container that protects it. That means rituals over routine. Creatives hate structure, but love rhythm. Give your brain predictability without rigidity. Deadlines are discipline with disguise. Your best work doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from commitment. Build systems that save your sanity. Automate, delegate, and create space. You don't have to suffer to stay sharp. Accept that stability doesn't kill creativity, it funds it. When your bills are paid, your art becomes braver. 6. Final thoughts. Your mind is a battlefield and a blessing. The creative brain is not built for peace, but it can find power inside it. You are wired to disrupt, to reimagine, to challenge what normal looks like. But if you don't learn to contain your chaos, it will consume you. Just remember this: creativity is a gift, but without wisdom, it becomes a weapon you aim at yourself. So step back, see your mind clearly, learn its terrain, and then build a life not just around your art, but in service of it.